Jason
No.
Morgan. I don't know if formally of Trishula or not. Who knows? Anyway, we did an interview with Neil, and
Yes.
but before we get into that, let's go into your past and stuff like that, and start off with Orangefall. Tell me a little bit
Okay.
about that band, and tell me about is there any more progress with that or whatever?
Well, I mean, it's funny, you see. Like most musicians, you start your band, you get together, things slow down, other things come up where they might be playing with different bands and everything else, and that kind of gets in the way. So when I was with Orangefall, we were together for about, oh God, since 2001. We've done about 4 albums. Um, which the last one we did was, and we released that on Broken Road Records.
Mhm.
Um, it was great. We got back together for a little while. Um, and did a few rehearsals. But of course, the Orangefall now predominantly my band members that they play
Right.
with Doctor and the Medics. Do you remember that 80s band, Doctor and the Medics,
Yes.
Spirit in the Sky?
Yeah.
So they play an awful lot with that, and there are other band members that will play with the Circus of Horrors and things like that. So they're quite busy.
Right.
So getting us together to do something new is really quite difficult. Um, that's when I kind of got together. Well, I was sort of free in between that lot. We got together with Rage of Angels, and basically there was an album out, Dream World. I had a call from Jed Rylands that he wanted to take it out live, and there was 5 different singers on this album, and so I auditioned, and basically I got the part, and I ended up doing a bit of a tour with Rage of Angels. We played in Varsby, we played with Europe on the same stage,
Right.
played in Ireland, Northern Ireland. We had a few shows in the UK,
Right.
and that was that then, really. I think Jed sort of, he was in between that, he was playing with Taiketo, and then me and Neil got together, and Neil said he had some ideas and some songs that he wanted, to run past me. Would I be interested and stuff? And I said, yeah. We got together, and he had some great songs, great tunes, and the music was, in my opinion, it was just totally on point. It was great,
Right.
but the lyrics, I mean, that is my sort of, that's what I like about music, is the creativity in the lyric side of things, and I really get lost in it. Um, and it takes up quite a lot of my time. You
Right.
know, I'm not, I'm sure John Lennon isn't shaking in his shoes with my lyric writing, or in his grave. But I'm just saying it's just something that I find very cathartic, and something I spend a lot of time doing, and get a lot from. And so anyway, that's how we got together. We wrote the first album, Scared to Breathe. He did all the music. He'd come up with some hook lines and some, chorus lines. And if he was really sort of adamant that he wanted to keep them, I'd have to write the whole song around it,
Right.
and try and use that line in my frame of reference, because
Right.
the song would start off as an idea. Well, I
Right.
mean, Neil told you yourself he'd had an idea, but it would often start off as an idea
Right.
in his head, and the music. But when it came to me, it would change slightly. So I
Right.
put my own frame of reference on it. So
Right.
as for the guitaring, he knew where the guitar in went,
Right.
and what it started off meaning to him. So he had his reference, which led to him writing his parts. But then, of course, there's my parts, which are the lyrics and the story and the basically filling out the song.
Right.
Trying to convey the images to the listener so they can, create the story in their own minds. Because, of course, music generally is subjective. I mean, I could be writing a song about anything really,
Right.
Say, but to somebody else, it could mean something else. It could
Right.
mean a time, a place, or they would associate that song with something that's going on in their lives. This is how we like our favorite songs, because it reminds us of times or reminds us of situations in our lives, and I think that's kind of what didn't really come across in Neil's interview. And I mean, as much, and this isn't taking anything away from Neil at all. I mean, he works very hard. He's, he's very, very creative and very, very talented. But I was really disappointed because, of course, we're 4 albums on now, and I agreed he does a massive amount of work. But of course, there are other members in this band which also do a massive amount of work. And the songs, ideas, maybe started off with his, but they quite soon become. It feels as much mine as it is his,
Right.
And there's no I in band,
Right.
So this is what I'm trying to get across, and I think the falling out kind of started when I kind of brought this up when he was approached the record company, really, about I think we should have a band photo, instead of just a photo of him. I mean, agreed. This is, his idea. He started it all off. But we've already said that in the first album, and we've already done that in the magazines, and people know. But it's not just him in Trishula. It's Trishula. It's not, Neil Fraser.
Right. Yeah.
And I think, as much as he sort of talks about the band in bits and bobs, I think I really don't think they have a much, I don't think they'd had, much sort of. They just do so much, they just do so much more. And not only that, their parts, he's quite free with his writing in the sense that I'll do the lyrics and I do my thing, and he's happy with that. He does his guitar part, but he lets the other musicians write their parts as well.
Right.
They write their own parts, which is great, which gives the actual, gives it the sound, and that we all know as Trishula, and we like.
Right.
And I think that needs to be mentioned, things like that. So these parts are all written by the artists, and I just think they should be mentioned and have a fair shake. And when I mentioned that I think it should be a band photo, then I think the communication stopped then.
Right.
And I haven't spoke to him since.
Wow.
So that's basically the story in a nutshell. But I'm not here to slag him off. I'm here to promote an album that I feel I've worked really hard on. We all have worked really hard on, and I just think that should be the message, and people should really enjoy it. I hope people enjoy it. You do, because you do this. You want, you put your heart and soul into it, and you want people to enjoy it. And you just send it out, like ships in the night. Then and it's off. It's gone out into the world.
Wow.
But
now Neil said, well, he texted me, and he just says all the original demos. These are demos even before you sung a note. He said these songs were completed before you even heard the songs.
The music was, the lyrics weren't. The music was. I didn't write any of the music, I can assure you of that. But the lyrics were not. The lyrics are all mine. And I mean, if you want to look on the album cover, or if you want to go on Spotify and type in the writers of Trishula, it'll come up. Neil Fraser and Jason Morgan. I am the author of the songs. So and that's in black and white. So you can't really avoid that.
He did say, when you get to see the album and stuff like that, he does give you credit for some of the lyrics.
Actually, all of the lyrics are pretty much mine. I mean, I could highlight some of his, and basically they're just hooks in the chorus line, which he, like I said, he wants to hang on to.
Yeah, he did mention that. He goes, he sends you the lead vocal melody lines on all the songs, and I guess you continue with the lyrics.
Yeah,
That's
I write
my
around
part,
what
I'm
he sends,
saying.
as much as I can. I mean, sometimes the subject matter works. I try my best to write as much as I can around what his ideas are,
Right.
but you know, that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to write to accommodate him, but try and use my own words, you know.
Right, yeah.
And that's what I do. But they are nevertheless my words.
Right.
If the song's called "Will Heaven Give Us What We Need," yeah, which it is, and that is the chorus hook. That is
Uh-huh.
his line. You know,
Yeah.
that's his line. That needs to stay, and we write around that.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, that's what I'm saying. But you know, to say that he's done it all is
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's, you know, after 4 years and 4 albums,
Right.
and with my name alongside his as co-writer,
Right.
and him just to be doing all the interviews just for his frame of reference. It's great if you're talking about lead breaks,
Right. Yeah.
fills, and soaring instrumentals. But when it comes down to lyrics and story, and you know, that sort of filling out the actual song and
Right.
what people actually listen to. I mean, don't get me wrong, they listen to lead breaks and they listen to fills and everything else. But, you know, some people listen to a story as well, you know, and I have to try and convey that story in lyrics, you know,
Cool.
and not all his.
Right. Yeah. Can you tell me anything about Rage of Angels in 2016?
Well, that was basically that was just the tour. I thought we'd go on and do another album, but I think Jed had other ideas with Escape Music. I think Escape Music went with somebody in terms of vocals that was a little bit more well known. I think that was the idea of that. Plus, I had a new business at the time, so I was kind of concentrating on that. So I wasn't really readily available anyway. You know, I had to sort of come out of that. They had a last gig, and that was in Birmingham, and I couldn't attend that because I was setting up my business at the time.
Right.
But yeah, so you know, I couldn't get round to do that. But you know, I don't know. He might well be writing another album for all I know. I mean, he's playing with Taketo, and they're quite busy, and they're doing really. They do what they do. They're doing really well, aren't they? But yeah, it's just one of them. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go to Scared to Breathe in 2019. That was your first release in this band, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then your second release was Time Waits for No Man. That came in 2020. How much has Scared to Breathe, changed compared to Time Waits for No Man?
Well, I think the the sound is kind of the same. I think with the first album, we were kind of getting to know each other, really, finding our feet and seeing what, you know, we all could bring to it. I think, you know, I think when you listen to a Trishula album, I think you know it's us.
Right.
And certainly with Neil's guitar playing, I think he's quite unique when he does that.
Right.
I think he used to say that you can tell it's if you can tell a guitarist when you turn it on a radio, you know,
Right.
you're doing a good job, like, you know, because
Uh-huh.
you know, they've got their own unique sort of style, haven't they? And way of playing and sound, you know. So I think that sound is still there, but I think lyrically and song wise, I just think they kind of got better. And this, I don't know how much of this album you actually have, the new one. Have
Right.
you got it all?
Yes.
Did they
Yep.
send it to you?
Yes.
I think, you know, this is by far. I don't know whether you've listened to the other ones either. I don't know how much time
Yeah.
you've had, really.
Yeah.
But to me, this one is really is the best, you know, and it's just unfortunate we've fallen out at a key sort of juncture, you know, of it when we're just about to release it. But you know, I know he mentioned he'd be doing live gigs. Well, I could tell you now, Brian, he won't be doing them with me. I shouldn't think.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
mm.
You never know. Things could mend, you know?
Well, you know, you never know, dear. You
Yeah.
never know.
No.
Mm.
So tell me about We All Fall Down in 2022. How much has that changed from the other albums?
I think you know when you get to write together. I mean, you from what I work with Neil, we get around. We try and get as much of it as melodic rock as we can. I don't think it's got any darker. I think the subject matter just changes. I mean, you know, when you're writing songs, you're either going to be like a political band or you're going to be, singing about love or singing about loss. You know, there's a certain kind of subjects, and I think we cover a lot of it in all of the albums, really.
Right.
But I think the music and the style. Hasn't changed that much, but I just think what has happened is Neil can produce them a lot quicker. We kind of know what we're doing now, or he knows what he's doing now and what he wants to do and how to get it out. So,
Right.
you know, we can get through the process quicker, you know. I
Right.
mean, I don't live too close to Neil and the
Right.
other members. I'm about you were talking about bands sometimes split up on the last interview
Yes.
with Neil, and you were talking about how bands sometimes split up because of
Travel.
the length,
Yeah.
the traveling, you know. Well, if the traffic's bad, it takes me 4 hours to get up to him,
That's too
and
much.
it's quite far, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, when you think about it. And if you're doing it a couple of times a week when you're recording
Yeah.
and staying in hotels
Yeah.
and giving up your time, and you know, it can get
Yeah.
quite expensive as well. So you know, it's
Exactly.
just that. Um,
Right.
but you know, I was quite prepared to do it, but I don't think I'll be doing it now. After this, probably not. But like you say, who knows? You know.
Right. Yeah.
But
So,
I,
so,
I, I, I don't really want to. You know, I never did want to end in the band or on a bad note with or any bad feeling with
right.
Neil at all. You know, it's just unfortunate. I think it's just all been blown out of proportion, really. And I
Right.
was just a little bit upset generally because I think, you know, I contribute in terms of what the song delivers as you know, as much as him in terms of the lyrics, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, there's two of us there. I mean, we did used to have photos together, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But why he just sends photos of himself, I mean, you know, I think you'll just have to ask him,
Right. Yeah.
you know.
So the new album, Becoming the Enemy, that don't come out until January of 2025, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So with your split between you two, what's your feelings towards the release and what are the hopes?
I listen. It doesn't take anything away from the actual album. I really think it's a good album, Brian,
Right.
and I hope everybody else does. And you know, it's in keeping with the other three. I don't know what the future brings.
Right.
Will we patch it up? I don't know.
Yeah.
If we do, then maybe we will go out and do it somewhere down the line. If we
Right.
don't, then maybe he'll carry on with Trishula. Maybe he'll have another singer and maybe he'll do some writing and release something. He's already said he's writing another album.
Right.
Maybe he'll release it with somebody else. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not bothered. I'm not worried about it. I'm busy enough. It's just, you know, I just think I don't know. I just felt a little hurt and
Yeah.
disappointed that I was kind of left out of the whole creative process and the whole interview thing. And you know,
Right.
because I like to talk about it, you
Yeah.
know, because it means as much to me as it does to him, or
Right.
as it does to the other members. You know,
Right. Yeah.
and that's basically all I wanted to kind of get across. I
Uh-huh.
don't really, you know, I love the album.
Uh-huh.
I'm really proud of it,
Right. Yeah.
and I hope people love it, and I hope people buy it, and I hope people stream it, and you know, I hope it does well.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. That's what I've come on to do, is to promote it. Obviously, try and clear up or clarify what's going on within the Trishula camp as well. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, you know, I love the album. I love the
Yeah.
album.
Well, the reason why I interviewed Neil is basically because of the press release that's sent out.
Yes,
You know, like
yes,
they're saying he's the founder, he's this,
yeah.
he's this. Basically, almost what you're talking, your name's like pushed to the side a little bit,
I know,
you
a
know,
little bit, a
and
little bit. Yeah.
that's basically not Neil's fault. That's the record company or the label or your press people. I mean,
Well,
it's whatever he
it
said, he
well,
said.
the thing is, right? They only send you what he sends them.
Right.
Do you see
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
don't know that part. I
Yes,
don't know
he
that part.
sends them. he sends them the information, then they send it out to you. So the thing is, they can't send you pictures of him
Right.
if they haven't got them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can't send you all this information unless he sends it to them.
Yeah.
So that's the how it goes, really. So, and that's why, hence, I feel a little bit upset that my name's kind of like
I can
pushed to the back.
understand that.
You
I
can't,
just
can you?
did I just did an interview recently and I asked for a particular person in the band. That
Yeah.
particular person is a personal friend of mine. I've been to
All
his
right.
house,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't give him to me.
That's crazy.
Right. So
Crazy.
I'm not a jerk. I still did the interview.
Yeah.
I just haven't posted it yet. It's only like a week old. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, I felt like, I'm asking because the guy's a friend of mine. I mean, the rapport between us both will be perfect because I've been to his house, and they
Yeah.
said, nah, nah, nah. And so I
Well,
went and
it's
told him,
it's it's a shame, really, because you would have had a really good conversation with him, and of
all
course,
right,
it would have been really easy to talk to him.
yes,
You wouldn't
yeah,
be sort of trying to pull teeth in your
exactly.
interview and try and get
Yeah,
information, because it would be easy to talk to him.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about your business. You said you had a business?
Well, I don't do much at the moment. My wife's got a hairdressing business, so she's very busy. I'm doing pretty much music at the moment,
Right.
and that's all I'm doing. So fortunately, she's busy enough and leaves me do what I do. So
Cool.
I'm lucky in that respect.
And
So
how about your daughter?
my daughter,
Your
oh
daughter.
gosh, yeah, I think she still does sort of stuff in sort of open mics and things like that. Whether or not she'll go and do a band, she's young, they're
Yeah.
off doing whatever they want to do.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I say, "Oh, do you want to do some harmonies or do you want to do some backing up?" Well, yeah, I'll come along.
Uh-huh.
So she's been on a couple of the albums. I tell you,
Cool.
I did backing vocals for Magnum as well. That was quite an experience.
Right.
Um, on the Serpent Rings. I was going to be doing them on their last album, the final one, but I was ill and I couldn't travel, so I was kind of gutted I missed out on that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities, and I've I'm not mourning, but I think some of the more interesting stuff and some of the best stuff I've done,
Right.
and the stuff I'm really proud about is this Trishula, and I really want to tell people about it, and I want them to know, my frame of reference regarding it.
Right. So what about a solo album?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. It wouldn't be that solo because, of course, I'd need musicians. I could write the album, but I'd need a string of musicians, and we'd be in this position again because they'd be doing more work than me, really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with a solo album, you've got to be so focused.
Uh-huh.
Crikey. I think I'm better sort of working and bouncing off other people, really.
Right.
I think I'm more comfortable in that. But hey ho, who knows what the future will bring?
Right. Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
I mean,
You know.
I have a good rapport with you as I do with Neil. I mean, it was great talking to him and great talking to you. So, like,
He's great. He's great.
I don't know why
And I
you
mean,
guys just can't get back
I
together.
know it's a shame. It's a shame, but it is what it is, and it is a shame. But
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to ask him, really. I've tried to patch things up with him way before the interview, and he just hasn't got back to me. So
Right.
you'd
Yeah.
have to ask him, really.
Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Well, Jason, it was great talking to you and get some
Lovely
input
talking
from
to you,
you.
Brian, as well. Lovely talking
So
to you. I hope this doesn't stir too much, but I'm glad you gave me the time to just come on and spend some time talking about it,
cool, cool.
really, and I really appreciate it.
You like to say anything to the fans out there?
Oh, just hope you enjoy the album. Just stream it, buy it if you can, if you want it on CD. We and just enjoy it. I'm sure it won't be the end of Trishula. I may not be singing in it next time, but I think the music is good. And Neil's a good songwriter. Okay, and he's a great musician. So I don't want to end on a negative note and come across as I really want to. I don't really want to slag him off. I don't want that. But I wish them all the best. I really do. You know,
Good, good. Well, you could tell all your friends this will be up today, so they could get a little bit of focus on your life.
brilliant,
So
brilliant. I
thanks a
appreciate it,
lot.
Brian. I really do. And thanks for coming back to me because, perhaps a lot of people wouldn't have, and,
Yep.
you took a chance, you came back and thank your wife actually for saying,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Okay. Take care. Thanks very much.
Thanks.